Nihilism is a philosophical perspective that denies meaning, value, and objective truth. It has roots in ancient skepticism but gained prominence in the modern era through thinkers such as Friedrich Nietzsche, Søren Kierkegaard, and Jean-Paul Sartre. The term itself originates from the Latin nihil, meaning nothing, and is often associated with the rejection of religious, moral, and existential structures. Though commonly perceived as a bleak or destructive philosophy, nihilism is a complex and multifaceted worldview with significant implications in metaphysics, ethics. Existential nihilism argues that life lacks inherent meaning, purpose, or value. This perspective suggests that the universe is indifferent to human existence, and any sense of meaning is a human construct rather than an objective truth. The most famous proponent of existential nihilism is Friedrich Nietzsche, who famously declared that God is dead, suggesting that the decline of religious belief leads to a void where traditional values lose their authority. Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus also grappled with existential nihilism, though they sought to offer alternative responses, such as existentialism and absurdism. Camus, in particular, proposed that humans must confront the absurdity of existence and choose to create meaning in an otherwise indifferent world. 2. Epistemological nihilism. Epistemological nihilism denies the possibility of knowledge or truth. It is closely related to radical skepticism, which questions whether human beings can truly know anything with certainty. This branch of nihilism challenges the foundations of science, reason, and even language, suggesting that all human knowledge is ultimately subjective or illusory. Philosophers such as Pirot and later postmodernists like Jacques Derrida explored elements of epistemological nihilism by questioning the reliability of perception, language, and cultural narratives. 3. Moral nihilism. Moral nihilism, or ethical nihilism, holds that moral values are not objective or universal, but are instead human-made constructs. According to this view, concepts of good and evil have no inherent meaning outside of social or personal preferences. Friedrich Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil critiques traditional morality as a construct of power and historical conditioning rather than an absolute truth. While some interpret moral nihilism as a justification for amorality, others see it as an opportunity to redefine morality based on individual or societal values rather than divine or metaphysical mandates. 4. Political nihilism. Political nihilism advocates for the rejection or destruction of political institutions, laws, and societal norms. This form of nihilism was particularly influential in 19th-century Russia, where it became associated with revolutionary movements that sought to overthrow traditional authorities. Russian nihilists, such as those depicted in Ivan Turgenev's novel Fathers and Sons, rejected religious, social, and political structures in pursuit of a radical restructuring of society. While political nihilism often carries connotations of chaos and destruction, some proponents argue that dismantling corrupt systems is necessary for progress. While nihilism is largely a modern concept, its roots can be traced back to ancient skepticism. Greek philosophers such as Pyrrho and Sextus Empiricus questioned whether knowledge or truth could be attained, foreshadowing later nihilistic tendencies. Similarly, certain Buddhist and Hindu philosophies suggest that the self and material world are illusions, aligning with some nihilistic perspectives. In the medieval period, nihilistic thought was often suppressed due to the dominance of religious institutions. However, figures like Meister Eckhart and medieval mystics explored themes of nothingness and the void, which bear similarities to later existential nihilism. The 19th century saw the rise of nihilism as a distinct philosophical movement, largely due to Friedrich Nietzsche's critiques of traditional morality, religion, and metaphysics. Nietzsche viewed nihilism as both a crisis and an opportunity. The death of traditional values could lead to despair, but it could also pave the way for new values, embodied in his concept of the Übermensch, overman. Following Nietzsche, existentialist thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus grappled with the implications of nihilism. Sartre's existentialism proposed that individuals must create their own meaning in a meaningless world, while Camus' absurdism argued for a rebellion against nihilism through personal engagement with life's absurdity. In the 20th and 21st centuries, nihilism has influenced various philosophical movements, including postmodernism and deconstructionism. Thinkers such as Michel Foucault and Jacques Derrida challenged the idea of absolute truths, arguing that reality is constructed through language, power, and social systems. Culturally, nihilism has influenced literature, cinema, and popular culture, often appearing in dystopian narratives and existentialist fiction. Works like Fight Club, The Stranger, and No Country for Old Men explore nihilistic themes, reflecting contemporary anxieties about meaning and morality. Nihilism raises significant questions about how humans should live in the absence of objective meaning or morality. Critics argue that nihilism can lead to despair, apathy, or moral relativism. If nothing has intrinsic value, what prevents individuals from embracing destructive behaviors? Some responses to nihilism include existentialism, emphasizing personal responsibility in creating meaning; absurdism, accepting life's meaninglessness while embracing experience; pragmatism, focusing on practical consequences rather than ultimate truths; re-evaluating morality, building new ethical frameworks based on human well-being rather than divine or absolute laws. Nietzsche's concept of active nihilism suggests that individuals can transcend nihilism by forging their own values and purpose rather than succumbing to despair. Nihilism remains one of the most challenging and provocative philosophical positions. While it denies inherent meaning, it also invites individuals to confront the question of meaning head-on, offering opportunities for personal and intellectual growth. Whether one embraces nihilism, resists it, or finds alternative responses, its influence on philosophy, culture, and modern thought is undeniable. Far from being a purely destructive force, nihilism challenges humanity to rethink assumptions about truth, value, and existence, making it a vital part of philosophical inquiry.